and ESEA.
Welcome back. I bet you guys got a little bit worried with the extended delay. Some of you probably know by now there was the update to Counter-Strike, so we had to take some time off to get all the servers updated and all the clients. So the players are joining the server. We are going to be going live. Just really quick, make sure if you guys are going to follow along throughout the evening and throughout the rest of the week for the rest of the matches we have going on in the regular season, use the Score Esports, check out the schedule, all the you know, stats and everything like that. Use that, get that through the App Store and in the Google Play Store. I'm going to get better at that one day. But yeah, this is going to be the second map between Splyce and CLG. First map was Cobble. It was a surprise, actually. I mean, Splyce just dominated from start to finish. That was actually pretty incredible to watch. CLG comes out flat, so hopefully now with that extended break, they could talk some things out and kind of bounce back from this. And it is going to be on Train will be the map.
We'll be going into it now. Kniferon is already live, guys, in the server. People to watch for this one is obviously going to be Jason R after that last matchup. Unfortunately for Splyce, though, this has not been a map where we've seen a lot of success really at all for this team in the past. 0-4 with their current record, of course, whereas CLG have been bouncing a little bit back and forth and more. However, looks like JDM is going to clutch out the knife round and give CLG the side choice start once again. But they also had this advantage in the last map. It turned out to be a pretty negative thing for them since they chose to start on the CT side of Cobblestone. And
got wrecked. But here on Train should be a little bit better. I mean, a much heavier lean towards the CT side of the defense. But it is going to come down to the fact that I mean, on Cobble, Splyce just essentially won every opening battle. It wasn't necessarily always tactical, which they did actually beat CLG in as well. But CLG is going to have to win some fight, win some of these early duels. They can't be playing with so many man-down situations and just losing bomb sites so incredibly quickly. It's so difficult to come back from that. And Splyce, I mean, we saw them played this last night, I believe. Yes, they did. And we actually saw one of the big things that they did, which I expect to continue here. It'll be interesting to see if CLG catches onto it, is they do take control of these box halls very quick and very aggressive, oftentimes sending two players, and you know, as we see now, they've already cleared it out with a minute and a half left. They're not very slow. They're not very you know, subtle about it. They just want to take it over, have that control, and go from there. One set of one smoke to utilize. That's going to be on Professor Chaos. Pop Flash is going to go down the ladder to help his teammates get down. He's not going to throw that. Just going to let them get into the ladder room and then fall back towards mid where the bomb is and throw a different smoke.
With the rest of CLG, though, starting to catch on to things. Tarek rotating back in. Will be supporting his team probably from up near Heaven, as he's already positioned himself there. And also JDM just outside of Z in the B-bomb site, ready for a quick rotate. Even Hayes, too, who was the usual player which commits himself to it, is sitting pretty close to the rotation point if he needs to come and support this site. So they get the read on it. Fugly striking first, but Jason R does supply another frag back for the Splyce guys as he takes down Cutler. And in the meantime, they've actually changed up the hit. They're going to throw the bomb back now over here towards ramp and try to make a hit here. JDM's ready for it, though, tapping away. Not able to find all that much. Ave is brought down to 6 HP. Tarek finally tapping away with another kill, but that's on the A-bomb site. Falls to Hayes to do most of the fragging inside here, and he's going to pick up a first one. Finds a second one into Professor Chaos, and now Ari in a 1v4. Not a whole lot he can do, but he does run forward and find at least one kill. That's going to be it, though. CLG with a nice cleanup here. They're going to find the first round on this map.
Yeah, enough damage is dealt, enough kills are found that Splyce really couldn't push forward to the inner train yard and keep the retake from happening. Once CLG gets spread out along that back wall, even Hayes up at the upper ramp, it's kind of all over. They have so many good positions. So they do, Splyce does get the bomb plant, so it'll be interesting to see how much they invest into this round, because they can go for that third round buy-up of the AK-47s, but instead, they're going to invest heavily into this. So spending all their cash. Tech 9, armor, we see a CZ and a Deagle as well. Utility also, I mean, Davy's got smoke 2 flashes, Ari's got a full set, including a couple Molotovs. So you expect this would be towards the inner bomb site and use those Molotovs after the plant, or at least one of them, to try and slow things down. Ari is going to cause some kind of a distraction. Actually, they've all come out here, all 5 of them. They came down ladder room, and Davy's going to trade that one kill off on a Tarek. So there's the M4 down. Smoke is going to block JDM from getting in the action, but Fugly's doing enough work right now, at least initially. And where do the post plants come in for Splyce?
So now Splyce's members holding on strong, and they're sticking pretty close to the bomb train too, but that's a nice HE grenade. Jason R down at 20 HP, and Ari at 7 now. JDM posted up on top. Did not manage to spot Ari crossing close, but is still going to be able to pick up that first kill. Professor Chaos and Ari, though, striking right back once again, but Ari gives himself away too easily. Professor Chaos finding another pickup, falling back now, just hiding behind E-Box, trying to waste some time, and he's going to finish it off. Shuts down Cutler, and the upset comes in and immediately ties this game up at 1 round to either team.
It looked like that retake was going to be so nice for CLG, but that position that Aryu is in up top, that gets him 1 kill, and it just kind of throws everything to hell for CLG. And Professor Chaos with 3 in the round. Smoke does get deployed in ladder room to block him off, but he just gets aggressive through it. So unfortunate for CLG. This is what they did to Splyce in the first half of Cobblestone, though, is lose that pistol and then win the second. So they're going to have no investment. Tarek does have his Zeus and some upgraded pistols, but no armor, no real money spent for CLG.
And just going to hide that inside of ladder room now. The rest of Splyce, though, lining their players up from top to bottom across the map there, getting themselves ready for a possible default hit. But there's Tarek.
That's beautiful.
2 for 4 now as he picks that up.
It's even worth it.
Arya will roll outside, though, and take him down directly after that. But they have managed to drop at least one player. And he baits out a couple more guys to go for an aggressive push to the outside of the bomb site, too.
Some Deagle dealing some damage to Arya. Davey, meanwhile, towards the inner site, did find Hayes, who was getting aggressive. There's real, I mean, this Deagle on Cutler is essentially the only danger that CLG has, the only real power that CLG has in this round, and it just falls to Abe. So there really shouldn't be too much left that CLG can do. Maybe surprise 1 or 2 guys coming through the smoke, but look at how aware Arya is of this possibility. Fugly's right inside of the smoke. He's only got 6 bullets as well. That's it. That's a team kill, and then you get punished for it. So Abe, you don't shoot Arya and get away with it.
So now just JDM left alive, and unfortunately, not going to be to a point when it comes to his name there with that USP. So Jason R will take him down, and Splyce with the team that takes control of things. But CLG, of course, did not really look for too aggressive of a response to that in the last round. So just saving up. Now we're going to see the force coming into the picture from CLG. 2 rifles coming onto the board now. Hayes should be able to buy up an M4, but for Tarek, unfortunately, it doesn't look like they have too much for him, so he's just going to go with a 5-7 buy. He gets a lot more utility because of that choice, but as far as the rest of his team concerned, they're not really going to be bringing a whole lot.
Here's that fast-paced take towards Box Hall still with the MAC-10. 3 members there for Splyce, so they really, really want control of it, and it's actually forced, I mean, JDM's already kind of cheated over. He has a scout, does not have the AWP. Tarek is stuck on the pistol. This is going to be a very interesting round. Hayes starts things out, so Davey gets a little bit too aggressive with that MAC-10, maybe thinking this is going to be another save round, but he gets punished for it because he's just wandering out. He had no chance in that fight.
And the rest of Splyce slowly moving themselves back over here towards the B-bomb set as 2 players get ready to poke their heads out of upper there, but also 2 pushing in for the T-connector. That's Professor Chaos and Abe. In the meantime, though, Fugly and Hayes have picked up 2 kills on either of the bomb sites. Still Professor Chaos alive and in there, and he's going to pick up another frag on Hayes. Finds a trade to the earlier loss of a teammate. Still a man down now, as Jason R and NPC are the 2 left alive. Tarek, too, working his way up through ladder room once again, has driven a wedge in between these final 2 players that currently Professor Chaos is not aware of. He does catch it, though, and is able to take down Tarek. Once again, reignited the possibility for Splyce to take this round.
Smoke comes out, and actually that actually baits out a shot from Fugly, so they now have intel at least where he is at the bomb train. JDM's going to rotate over. Like we said, still with the scout, so he's got to be careful, and actually this is a good call from Splyce. They're going to rotate back towards the inner bomb site. JDM, though, he has the timing. Feels it's coming, comes back to check, and he's going to see him. He has brought down the Professor Chaos with a nice shot, dinks him instantly. Scout shot does land, so PC's down at about 10 HP, but there's really no utility for Fugly. He's got to just find the skill, and actually the timing of it is allowed Professor Chaos to get away. And a Molotov in his hands as well is pretty much should seal the deal into this round unless Fugly pulls off a miracle.
Got a single flashbang to work with. Maybe you can try to get aggressive, but Professor Chaos just spotted the fact that he's pushing over here on upper. So now trying to make sure he checks for the rest of that bomb site. But the first molly is used, actually, to prevent him from getting aggressive inside of that. The flashbang going to roll back over here towards ramp. Doesn't really connect all that well. But Fugly picking up a first kill. Now, though, running out of time, and the peek about to come out from Jason R, but he spots it, actually. Gets some good damage. Fugly himself, though, now down at 2 HP, does not have any chance left of using that bomb successfully, so he's going to try to fall back, but Jason R cuts him off. Yeah,
like we said, it was such a tough spot for him to be in, rotating over, trying to win that 1-on-2, especially with a Molotov in the hands. And it's actually used a little bit oddly to prevent it from pushing upper. That could have been a situation where that could have maybe worked out in his favor, but it doesn't. 3-1 for Splyce now, so off to another good lead. UMP on Abe. Davies back on the back 10. Now he knows it's going to be an anti-eco, so going to try and take advantage of those CLG members without any kind of armor. Tarek a little bit blind. He's got the Zeus again. He styled with it up the ladder earlier. We'll see if that something similar can happen again. He's going to be a little bit more passive. And Davey, meanwhile, over towards Ivy this time, not taking control of Box Halls. Finds the first kill, and Cutler's going to remain aggressive, but Jason R's already worked his way out mid. They have no eyes on it whatsoever. So it's looking like this is going to be a pretty routine 4th round for Splyce.
No risk at all here. So just Tarek and Hayes left. They have placed themselves outside of the...
What? All right.
Now you're just going for style points with that one. But look at what's happened now, because it's not picked up by Tarek, but he's going to get cut off by Abe, and as well Hayes Thankfully for the Splyce members, he doesn't have any armor, so he's going to be pretty easy pickings. But those 2 guns, if they'd escape with it, could have been a nice sort of savage coming into this next round here. But regardless, there should be enough money left for these guys now, and they are finally going to get a good full buy going.
JDM on the op, and it didn't really have an impact on Cobble whatsoever, so hopefully he's going to get back into it here on Train. He's dueling against Arya with it. And Arya has actually shown some proficiency. He's had some very, very solid rounds with the AWP, you know, for seasons now in Pro League. Very underrated AWPer in my opinion. So be interesting to see that duel come to fruition. Hayes is going to be on top of this first Train, and now that he's heard some noise in box halls, now that he knows Splyce is taking control of it, he does call JDM back. So a chance for the AWP to get into play, and there it is. Arya actually comes down. He's dealt so much damage, and Hayes finally finishes it off through the wall. That's nicely found. Arya just exposes a little too much of his legs, and that smoke is going to delay Splyce even longer. So they're initially stopped. They wanted to see if they could find a pick at this inner site. There actually is a pretty cool triple boost you can do right at that wall that would help you pick in a connector. Not going to be done here, though.
Splyce now bringing things into an even 4-on-4. Abe's going to work his way out to the outer bomb site. Fugly, though, makes quick work of him by eliminating him now. They still only really have 1 player pushed outside of here, and that's going to be Davey, who's currently pushing the short lane. Jason R, though, catching one of them, and now all the attention's on him as well, and a lot of these players are going to start to rotate back over towards that A-bomb site. The bomb's still really not committing itself here, but it does look like Splyce want to go for it, just holding back a little bit to try and catch some of these guys on the rotation, hoping to find them out in the open. But it's not going to be the case. Now they start to smoke things off, and they'll look to make a little bit more progress, getting closer to the actual bomb train.
Davey now, this is a good find from him. Really good patience, jumps up on top, finds Hayes, and now the outer bomb site is open. JDM's here, he's blocked off by smoke, and it seems like Davey has an idea. That, or at least he's just spamming through to see what comes from it. But JDM, again, he hasn't even shot a bullet into this round, so the op being very ineffective. It's a big investment, not able to get into the game. He's pulled over towards that B bomb site on a rotate, and then Davey opens everything up on the outer site with the kill. So JDM's got to be a little bit frustrated here, and there he is swinging out. Good timing from Davey on that. So a 5th round for Splyce, again, starting to run away with things.
Yep, and it's getting to a very dangerous point here, too. 5 rounds up against only 1 for CLG, with them being on the CT side. And CLG back in another situation where they cannot really justify going for a force up here, so just going to upgrade pistols, maybe a random armor buy or 2 coming up behind some of these guys, and that's exactly what it's going to be. Smoke and a flashbang for Cutler and just a smoke for Hayes, so they can try to hold off some of these angles, but for the most part, these guys just upgrading their pistols to maybe win a couple 1v1s or 2. To try and equalize things, but not too great of a start for CLG with Arya speaking right out towards Ivy and finding the option on a Fugly.
Yeah, and CLG responding by getting aggressive towards Terrace middle, and they're not going to find anything. There's some good damage done by Cutler, but he can't finish off Arya. Abe watching this flank. Abe doesn't want to push into that whatsoever. So all the CLG members now split up, but again, Splyce is going to have a pretty easy round as this bomb gets planted. And now it comes into the idea, I mean, the full losing bonus built up. They're going to have, you know, sitting right around 6 to 7K on most of these players. So, again, being able to get anything they could possibly want. But are they actually going to be able to stop this? Even the rounds where they're having some kills early on, even when they're trading, getting into even man situations, this lurk from Davey was very effective in some of these gun rounds. He's at 8-3. He's having a very effective game so far in these early stages.
Money's getting to a really dangerous spot, too, for Splyce. When you just look at the amount that some of these guys have left over after their buy, 12.3K on Davey, $10,000, I think, just around sitting on Professor Chaos there. So these guys are just rolling in cash at this point. No reason to worry whatsoever. They can even throw lives away just to try and do some riskier moves. So CLG need to play really cautiously because these guys can afford to lose a couple players from round to round.
Hayes is going to have the first contact. Professor Chaos is not ready for that one. There was a teammate nearby, and that might be why PC was a little bit unaware that was a possibility. JDM gets one. Still got 2 to deal with, trying to fire some shots through the smoke, and that one's going to delay a little bit longer, and they can be a little bit more passive now. It's a 5-on-3. There really should be no holes in this defense that Splyce could exploit in this situation.
They're still taking it very slowly and waiting as well for Abe to get himself in position above ladder room there. They can attempt to explode out here and overwhelm that A-bomb site to maybe escape with the plant to keep their money going strong, or maybe even just turn the round back on its heels if no one suspects a player to be working their way in from that ladder room area. But Abe slowly crossing out now. Nobody's spotting him, but Tarek up in heaven there will be able to catch him as soon as he crosses out a little more, and that's exactly what's going to happen. He'll shut him down. And now the final 2, they have no choice but to just try and push their way out. Still a lot of utility sitting on both Davey and Jason R, but they know that they're going to be coming from this direction, and Fugly has eyes on it. Doesn't actually spot Davey initially, but Davey as well, not really able to find any damage. Fugly picking up that first kill to Jason R, and Tarek responds. Takes down Davey. finally putting a second round onto the board for CLG.
And crucially, now it comes, what we always say after a big losing streak. You win one, you need to string 2 rounds together. But importantly, since they had 5 members survive in the last round, they do, just by virtue of that, not having to reinvest as much, build up some money. So you can see Tarek's still at 4K, so is Hayes, Cutler's at 3K, so they have some money to sustain some losses as long as they don't lose this round. Even if they do lose it, they'll probably have a force buy coming in, a relatively strong force buy, but right now they do salvage a double op setup on this defense. So Tarek's going to be in connector. Fugly is actually pushing out towards Ivy with JDM covering him, and he might be able to grab some intel, and he does. He peeks out, he sees him lining up for some smokes, grabs 1 kill, and with that, he takes 1 last shot and falls away. And now Hayes being aggressive. He could have a quick flank once this execute comes out.
They move themselves down towards it, and CLG quickly falling back to that bomb set as well, getting ready to defend things. Arya, flashbang, not gonna work out so well, but another one's tossed in, and although it affects him, it also affects 2 of the CTs as well. So we're gonna be able to get some damage back over there. Coming out earlier for onto Fugly, but nothing really coming out from that spray. And for Splyce, they very quickly look to make their way out into the bomb site, but still no coverage going on to Heaven, so Tarek is free to just rack up some kills from here, taking down both Davey and Abe. Hayes also found one on the Jason R. Arya somehow snuck his way all the way through these CTs and got himself inside a Z, but unfortunately 1 on 5, not a whole lot left for him to do.
Yeah, a little bit of a bummer for Splyce there, because with that position, if they could have just held on a little bit longer, he might have been able to make something happen, whether it's rooting Tarek out of that position if he'd been able to go up ladder. But now in this spot, trying to find his one-on-ones, and he's actually got a second kill. Can he get a third? Almost. Cutler's brought down to 3. So almost able to do some critical damage to the economy of CLG, but they do, importantly, save that double op, because that was very, very effective. Tarek and JDM there manning down that outer bomb site with it. And Splyce now, that money that you talked about just a round ago is pretty much is essentially gone. There is still some left on Jason R and Abe, but that's about it.
Arya is able to get an op donated to him by Jason R this time, but no utility sitting behind his buy, so very quickly limiting them. However, Splyce, much more direct this time with their initial push, moving some of these guys back over there to the top of ladder room. And they'll be taking that aggressive control that you spoke so much about at the beginning of this match too, over here towards the back of the B bomb site in just a moment, but they seem a little bit more timid than they have been in the past. It's been smoked off, so maybe being a little bit more cautious of somebody from CLG trying to get aggressive about it, but it's the exact opposite. CLG, once more, playing to a very, very passive CT-sided setup. Nobody's up by the bomb train. Nobody's even pushed up to try and watch for a ramp push or watch for something towards upper there.
Splyce has no map control. They essentially have Davey in middle just waiting to lurk, so this has got to be an inner execute, and it is. Smokes are out. That's going to block their passage into the site. Tarek trying to peer over the smoke. He has been spotted. Now he's very exposed from 2 different angles, and he just falls. A little bit too aggressive from Tarek. Overextends himself. Hayes going to try and do something, but he's out in the open as well. Can't land the shots even. So Cutler's here to finally respond. Takes out Jason R, but still going to be a tough retake, and Davey is on the flank still. He's slowly creeping his way.
Cutler with a very long-range spray. It doesn't kill him on the first attempt, but with the re-peek, he will be able to grab it. In the meantime, though, Arya picked up another kill, and Professor Chaos jumping onto the sidewalk. Grabs Fugly as well, and Davey now wrapping back in from Z. Will be able to shut down the remaining CTs, taking down Cutler. And just like that, Splyce back in the driver's seat here. CLG are going to have enough money left to justify another buy-up, but as soon as this one expires, if we see Splyce going up to 8 rounds, and they're going to be broke once again.
A good chance here for Splyce to just have a dominant first half if they can break this economy. They have it so close. No one above $250 on the CLG side, and light on utility, so opportunities to kind of bully them a little bit, bide the time on some of these in this round and make them use most of their nades early on. Although Jason R's gotten out very quickly. Molotov behind the green train. Now he's going to push up towards Sandwich. Is he able to find that kill? Cutler just gets away in time. And now Jason R's in a really, really difficult spot, but he's being the aggressor. Abe finds the opening kill. That's from E-Box, and now they can slowly restrict onto the site.
Professor Chaos finding that second kill. Some good damage done to both of them, but still no execution coming out. Hayes with a flank, which just completely whiffs that opening spray attempt. Again, doing some okay damage to Abe, but still, it's not going to be a kill. And now the final 2, they have no control left over. Splyce have gotten very aggressive with their pushes. They've taken control of the Ivy tunnel. Cutler's going to get himself into a duel with Davey here first. Takes him down, but still a long way to go if they want to have any attempt of retaking this site.
Yeah, there's really nothing. This is something where they just need to save. Maybe try and take some guns out, but more than likely just keep those weapons in the hands of CLG. And Splyce, they're in an awkward spot. I mean, they have the money to go for the chase here, but just the positioning of that isn't really going to allow for it. Cutler and JDM can get very comfortable. Jason R is going to be the only one, it looks like, going for it. He's going to be all alone, though. Molotov could root Cutler out of position. It's at least going to block off JDM from peeking, and Jason R is just not going to clear anything at CT spawn, so should be able to get away there. He just sees JDM at the end over the fire, but does fall. So an 8th round for Splyce, and there's that reset we were talking about. Everyone sitting right around 2,000. Because they have an op and an M4, though, they are going to choose to buy up. So they're putting a lot of faith in JDM and Cutler to open up some opportunities for these upgraded pistols to have an impact.
So for CLG, quickly falling behind once again, and Splyce just taking control of things. They'll split themselves up once more, just lining up the default. I think super advanced from Splyce, but a lot of the same, and thankfully, because the fragging power remains so strong from round to round, they are able to dominate the playing field when it comes to these very, very basic strats.
Very slow pace into this round. Splyce just playing behind the smokes at the moment. Haven't used any of their Molotovs, have only used one of their smokes, so plenty of utility left for them to pretty much make any call they want. The rifles for CLG are split. Hayes is still at the inner bomb site. JDM with the op is at the other, in the outer train yard with the op, trying to figure out, wheeling between T-mid and Ivy, seeing where, but now he's going to be smoked off. So Abe is just looking to see if he can find anyone, but it's JDM who, that rifle is essentially ineffective as the smoke, Davies just going to walk his way out. There's a little bit of a timer on it, and Fugly's got to fall away because he doesn't have the support of his team.
So JDM slowly creeping himself forward, but Fugly is the first one that is going to be able to line up a kill. Jason R responds by taking down JDM, a little bit too close for comfort, it would seem. But Abe, too, might be surprised here in a moment. He's distracted by Tarek now as he peeks back out from E-Box, and he almost lines up the second kill in time, but it's Jason R, so far the only player to find any of these trades. Now another player gets onto the board for Splyce. This time going to be Arya. Shuts down Cutler, and now Hayes and Fugly, the final two left alive. Again, both working from the tunnel to try and retake this.
Oh, there's Hayes from the side, finds Arias. This is doable now. Second one as well, down into a one-on-one. It's Professor Chaos versus Fugly. Only one flashbang, and it's just used now. Neither player has utility, so it's going to be all the stare down on the bomb. Fake defuse, and he's going to win that battle. He almost comes so close. 8 HP on Professor Chaos, and Fugly falls. So now there's really no money left in the bank for CLG. They could have another similar buy if they wanted to go for it, but they need to save one and just try and get 5 in this half.
They can't afford to keep taking those risks, so Splyce, although their own money has sort of been demolished here, the problem, though, is that the round share is just so much more in their favor now, so they don't even have to worry about that sort of thing just as of yet. CLG, like we were talking before, does now have to give respect to Splyce. They can't afford to force things up once more. They are going to have to save, possibly allowing Splyce to get themselves into double digits, and then from there, possibly allowing things to build up to 12 rounds like we saw in that last map, too, which will not give CLG a very large hope of fighting back in the second half.
Hayes looks like he wants to get aggressive, but this is just walking right into Abe's crosshair. It's exactly what he's looking for. Tarek?
This, yeah, I was about to say, this could act as sort of a distraction for Tarek to run up and get into the Zeus kill again.
Yeah, that would be an interesting play if they do try and split this. And there's a nice pop flash. Tarek gets a taste of his own medicine. That time it's not working out. And everyone from CLG is getting cleaned out with no response. The only damage that's him dealt was the 5 to Davey when he falls from the ladder. So tough spot for CLG to be in. So they're going to go forward with no success into this round. They'll have a very strong buy, but that hasn't really been doing too much for them throughout this half. Another very, very slow start. So
for Splyce, continuing to just dominate things here and not really seeming to struggle with it all that much as well against CLG. Something's flatlined from this CT side, and they're not really going to be given a very large chance to recover it here. Finally, though, with that save, it's another gun round, and it's another great one, too, with pretty much everything they could ever want and ask for in terms of a buy here. JDM maybe not getting a full utility kit, but he's got the op armor and a defuse kit as well, so basically everything he could ever want. Now for Splyce, I think they're just going to kick up the heat now. Already having Jason R get himself out into the bomb site. Tarek has spotted the play that could be coming in from ladder room, but he mollies that. So it's going to hold back the aggression for Splyce just a little bit here, and Jason R fails to win his first duel. Ari did respond them again very quickly, and also Tarek just waltzes in, catches a blind Arya, and we'll be able to give another kill to the guys on CLG and give them a man advantage here.
There's some proactive defense. Nice pop flash through the smoke for Tarek to find a kill. And he's going to win that battle against Abe also, so he stabilizes this outer train yard. It's all on Davies' lurk. Professor Cass is above the ladder, just biding his time. Davies got to find something to give him an opening, and he might just do it. He does find one kill, down to about 50, but can't land the second. That would have been key to win that battle. Professor Cass, though, slowly coming out of ladder room. It took him a while to find that kill. One more outside, Tarek, and JDM over towards in there with the AWP. Very much isolated. No matter where he goes, it's a one-on-one, but this might just be too much. Although he does force him back. Now he's going to come down lower ramp, Tech 9 in hand, and JDM doesn't let him do anything. Doesn't get that shot baited out, and a 4th round for CLG is on the board.
And now we'll head to the final round, of course. Splyce still going to have enough to party here, bringing back the AKs into this next round. Professor Chaos will have to downgrade himself away. Actually, no, it'll be Ari that'll be picking up the op this time around here, so they'll still have that in play, but it's the same story for CLG. as by finally putting another round up onto the board here, and that happening on a gun round as well, they'll be able to sustain that heading into the final round. So we have one more big clash between these two teams. If CLG can get a 5th round on the board, this is still definitely something which they can fight back from in that second half. We already saw it was not exactly a clean closeout, despite it being a 12-3 half originally for Splyce back on Cobblestone. And if we see something similarly happening with a 5-10 scoreline, then that leaves a much wider gate open for CLG to sneak back in and steal the map away.
This time it's heavy towards Ivy for the Splyce guys. They did leave the bomb back towards team mid, and they have no one nearby, so Jason R is going to slowly come back to grab that. But still making no move. They have pulled JDM to rotate towards the B bomb site because of that presence in box halls. Now it comes down to this very aggressive defense from Cutler and Tarek, very, very close up in middle. Tarek's putting a lot of faith in Cutler to find this first kill, because if they swing wide and Cutler misses his shot, then essentially Tarek's just a free kill at that point.
Splyce now still just biding their time. Back to the more...
It's 4 in the evening. Misses his smoke out the window. I like it. There goes Tarek, though. He pushes forward once he feels the pressure, and Cutler's now been spotted out of E-Box as well. That Molotov is going to allow him to get away at least, but 4 on 5 for CLG.
They're going to work their way out onto the site here now. Cutler pinned a little bit here, but actually able to find his way outside of that box, and Fugly with a very long-range kill, too. Cutler looking for more, but CLG finally seem to have found some footing here, and now they're just dominating Splyce. It's like the Professor Chaos sort of swoops his way through inside of Zine once again, and so they've lost him a bit, but Hayes jumps down, he's also destroyed, and now these final 2 players, they're so low, so Professor Chaos, if he realized this, he can just swing around and look for these final 2 kills, jumping around, there you go, there's another one on a Fugly, but only 6 seconds left. He needs to hunt down this kill very quickly, and Cutler realized it, so he's on the run. Timer's going to expire, and by that virtue, CLG will escape this half with the 5th round.
Yeah, smart play from Cutler. Once the clock gets to about 10 seconds, he just starts running, knowing that even if he gets the kill, even if his teammate dies, Professor Chaos doesn't have the time to run and pick up the bomb and get back in time to plant it. So he just stays very, very hidden. And it does make you wonder a little bit when you see the defense for CLG those last 2 rounds really come alive like that and just be dominant. Like, where was that through most of the half? Because they just could not get anything done. It's another big half for Splyce on the tougher side, you would say. Although, like we said, it's North America. We do see a little bit more T-sided than in the European competition.
It seemed like at a certain point, CLG had gone away now from playing their more passive CT-style setup, which just wasn't working against Splyce, to getting more aggressive, specifically Tarek getting much more proactive, and almost all of that happening on the outside bomb yard too. So as soon as they switched that up, everything was just going so much better for their CT side. Just a bit unfortunate for them that it happened so late in the half that they couldn't make it a bit more of a closer contest.
It's going to be, I mean, that is the thing. We did see Tarek kind of come alive, get a little bit more aggressive, but it's going to have to extend in the second half. And, I mean, the T side of the train, this is where this can just turn into a lockdown defense for Splyce, because they have been the ones taking the fight to CLG on both maps now. So is CLG going to be able to recover from this very, very slow first half, is my question. Because that was the nightmare on Cobble. Yeah. And losing that map that big and then coming in and dropping dropping 5 on the CT side, that could just put you on tilt a little bit. Especially
after too that CLG dropped the pistol in the second half, and then their hopes are like instantly crushed there at the beginning of it. They're not even given a chance at a 12-3 half. This time though, things will look a little bit brighter, but it's still definitely going to be in a very risky situation for CLG if they allow Splyce to take control of those first 3 rounds, because that's going to put Splyce only 3 away. For CLG now, that would be like 8 in a row they'd have to do to tie it back up.
So there we are, match going live now, just about to restart into the second half. Pistol, 10-5 for Splyce on the defense. They're going to be on the CT side, the side that is generally more favored. Kit bought for Professor Chaos, 2 flashes as well. Arya could buy a little bit of utility. He hasn't invested yet. For the CLG side, it's just Hayes. He's got the smoke and 2 flashes for his team. There's Arya getting some armor as well, so Fugly has not bought anything yet. That could be a little bit of a mistake, so he has nothing. He's got no armor and no nades.
What it looks like for now, CLG is just going to be moving their players, mainly over on top of ladder room too, as they drop down inside of it. Oh, Davey just going to absolutely destroy Tarek on his way out, but Cutler will find a trade. Arya, though, Peeking out from the bomb train, catches Cutler. Two more of them are trying to change this hit up a little bit here by pushing it to the inner bomb train, but Abe spotted this. He's called for help now, and he's actually on the run a bit, trying to move away from this further posted up position in the site, but he might just be able to handle this on his own, and he does. Nicely played by Abe. Going to be able to finish off Fugly and then take down JDM to top it all off and give Splyce control of the second half pistol.
Some very sick kills, and this could just seal the deal for CLG. It's the same exact thing happened in Cobble, so now they're just going to be very, very tough for CLG to get back into this, and without even a plant, they can't go for a third round AK buy, and they're not going to invest anything into this round. So you imagine next round would be when they invest, even if they can't necessarily get all the AK-47s with utility. Maybe see if they can get 1 or 2 out on the board, and then have some Tech 9s with the smokes and flashes. Dangerous spot. Arya with the Mag 7. He finds that kill in the head, of course, from beneath Cutler. And then he just falls down the ladder like an action movie.
Jason R almost tapping away there too to grab one of the other guys. Brings Tarek down to 69 HP, but not going to be able to finish him off just as of yet. However, they are slowly being eliminated one by one here. Abe almost losing his own life, so at least one loss may be happening for the CT side, but it doesn't seem to be the case now as Abe's here to save the day. Takes down Hazed. And the final two, apologies, aren't even really connected with the bomb now. Fugly and Tarek trying to move themselves throughout the A-bomb site to maybe look for a bit of a surprising angle, but Jason R, the casual tap to finish off Fugly. And it'll just be Tarek now. He does have a flank. He has managed to successfully sneak around, so maybe can steal away 1 kill, but that's probably the largest thing he's going to be able to find here.
Go for the knife. Yes.
Cut it out.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
They're going to find him too when he peeks out again. No.
Now we do it.
No.
What is happening right now?
He wants to get the back. He doesn't want to take any chances on missing. It's
like one of those old school games where like the NPC goes in like the same movement. Come on. I've had enough. Yes.
There you go.
It was well worth the wait. Tarek finds the knife out of Jason Art. Good find.
That's like trying to backstab someone in Dark Souls right there.
That's good control, though. I mean, he could have panicked multiple times in that kind of a situation.
So he has managed to pick that up, and with only 10 seconds left on the clock, too, that's another thing that actually happens because that so much time is wasted with him just waiting to find that backstab. Is it now 4 seconds left? He's hiding in this little corner over here, and more than likely, he's probably going to make it out of this round with that. However, Davey going to try and change that now as he races to it, but Tarek holds his ground. A second player, I don't think he's going to be able to peek out in time, and no, he won't. So Tarek will escape that round with a free rifle. That's going to save his team quite a bit of money if they do choose to force here, which they will.
Yeah, they essentially have to. So holding out for the best possible buy that they could have. Actually, Tarek, if he had fallen, that would have been so bad because he would have had no bonus money. He would have been stuck on the Tech 9. Wouldn't have been able to get a rifle at all whatsoever. So very risky decision for him to just try and save that FAMAS.
So Professor Chaos gets aggressive once more, moving himself up to the T-connector, and look at how heavy the concentration is here. Takes the first one and gets the second one while he's still mid-air. Cutler responds with 2 of his own, but then Arya comes in to dominate the playing field. Now down to just Fugly, along with JDM, 2-on-3. Not completely a lost cause as of yet, but Jason R has spotted the recommitment to the outer bomb site. Greatly placed Molly, unfortunately, not greatly placed shots, and Fugly's going to take him down, but still, the trade's coming in strong. Fugly overexposes himself. Arya cleans up those final 2 kills. He's the savior of this round for Splyce, picking up all 3 of those kills. He rushes from the bomb train and just finishes things off all in his lonesome. He's going to find the 13th round for Splyce, and with that being a force-up from CLG, they can't justify doing it again. We're just going to put them in a very, very dangerous position here, almost handing over a 14th round to Splyce.
Yeah, that was basically the Hail Mary for CLG, is winning that round, and Professor Chaos with the shotgun, I mean, essentially just, that's a punch in the face. Just gets up close and gets those nice 2 kills. Really takes the teeth out of that attack. This time it's going to be an inner rush. This is just, all right, get it over, boys. Let's get to the gun round, see what we can do from here. Arya up top, that's an easy kill onto Abe. Molotov is going to block things off on the lower ramp, and actually Hayes wins that duel. Cutler has made his way through. He's got 11 HP, but Abe, there's no chance of him being cleared out of this spot. Hayes does have an M4. They do have the bomb, but they're going to try and sneak down. There it is. JDM does find it with the Tech 9, but he's brought down through smoke to 6 HP. There would have to be some kind of miraculous shots out of Hayes to win this round. He's even getting flanked out at the moment. Slowly but surely, his chances in this round are dwindling.
Hoping to try and take down at least 1 player before he goes for that plant, but not going to be happening. Davey finishes it off, and there's that 14th round. Splyce we're looking for right here. CLG with possibly their last real big buy here now. They drop this one. Losing bonus, of course, has been stacking up, but if they don't manage to get a plant, it's going to be another rather pitiful buy with a lot of downgrades coming in.
It's a strong buy, though. I mean, with that losing bonus, as you mentioned, everyone's got 3 Molotovs, and then JDM has his op armor and 3 nades. Fugly as well is pretty much a full nade kit. So good stuff from CLG in this round. Two towards Ivy at the moment. Double op set up on the CT side. Davey and Jason R. And Abe's actually been pressured enough inside. That's going to force Arya on the rotate back. He does not have one of the ops, so a little bit interesting not seeing an op in that position.
But still very, very slow pace now from CLG. As they wait to see if there's going to be any extra aggression coming out from Splyce, but they themselves now are shifting back. They're a little bit more active with their defense on the B-bomb site, but that's probably going to shift itself closer to connector here in just a moment. As soon as CLG start their hit to the A-bomb site, it is lining up to be a probable default here in a second. With them having that nice boost, though, JDM is going to be able to find the opening kill on Jason R. Catching some of those guys from Splyce out in the open towards Ivy, almost finding a second. But they do realize what exactly is going on, and they're not going to want to risk their chances on that once again.
Yeah, he's lurking towards inside. He could get more and more aggressive, although I think Abe knows he's here. Oh, Abe, they turns around at the wrong moment. The timing is with Hazed. Now he's going to increase the pace. He's going to be aware there's someone beneath him. He's not. Free kill for Arya, so it's a 4-on-3 now. CLG has an advantage. Both ops still alive for the Splyce side, and it's going to be an outer hit. Cutler coming out the oh, what a shot. See you later, Davey. Professor Cass going to try and do what he can, but he gets picked off as well.
And unfortunately, this just leaves Arya alive on his lonesome, so wouldn't even really be advantageous for him to try and move in to look for a couple frags here and there. Going to peek down, trying to find Tarek. Nice little tap there, actually, after the first one doesn't end up going so well. But down at 12 HP as well. We'll have to try and hold on here for a few more seconds. Thankfully, with CLG themselves being on such a delicate economical situation, they can't really afford to commit themselves to go and hunt this down. Because Splyce is still 2 rounds away from victory, and they need to make sure that in the event Splyce steals away that 15th round, they don't immediately leave themselves with no options to try and strike back on match point.
And actually, there could be a force buy out of Splyce in this next round. Their money is close to being, you know, it's not strong by any means, is what I'm trying to say. But Ari's going to have a weapon. Abe and Davey can buy the M4s and have at least a little bit of utility. And Jason Arm, Professor K is going to make that up. So at most, they would have, I mean, 2 pistols. But it might be something where, because of the round lead, they decided to take it a little bit more passively. And that's what they're going to do. So they're not going to invest too much into this. Playing conservative with the money. Investment from Davey and Abe, but a lot of reliance on Arya just saying, see what you can do with that AK-47. If it works out, very cool.
So Splyce are going to go for the big stack back over here to the back of the B-bomb site, looking for some kills. They've got a lot of players here, but Hayes is going to try and hold this off. He picks up 2 out of 3 of them, but able to strike back. Meanwhile, though, Arya picking up an additional kill over here outside of T-Connector, and that's the bomb going down, too. A good nade connects onto JDM. And thankfully for Arya, JDM's going to miss another connection shot when he tries to boost himself up a bit better. So Splyce are actually in a great position right now. They've rotated everybody out to the outer bomb site. They've got the defenses surrounded around this bomb. Abe's got the only smoke. Or apologies, both JDM and Fugly do have a smoke, so they can try and smoke that off to go and retrieve the bomb, but that could mean Splyce's players would get ultra aggressive and just move in to try and drop him as well.
Yeah, Fugly's the big X factor here in ladder room, and actually that pop flash works perfectly. Abe's blinded, so he's got to concede it a little bit. Fugly's going to come out, he's going to clear that. Abe falls close up. Arya's getting back on top of the train, trying to peer in towards ladder room, and he does catch Fugly off guard, but he loses that battle, commits to the spray. Jason R with the deagle. He's the only one remaining. It looked so good for Splyce there for a minute. They had a big advantage, but Fugly with 2 very important kills, although he's brought down low because of the deagle of Jason R. 40 seconds left on the clock. CLG has the time to rotate elsewhere. That nade is going to do very good damage.
Keep in mind, no armor sitting on Jason R, so he's now down at 34 HP. And I think CLG are just going to play this safe, rotating the bomb back up through the back of B, and will instead go for a plant attempt there. So now Jason R left with a choice. As soon as he sees this plant coming in, does he attempt to go for the retake back over there, or does he look for a gun and just try to save that instead? And it looks like he's actually choosing to move in and attempt to go for this retake here. Trying to keep himself quiet, but on top of the train, not going to be able to do that for very long. Catching another hit onto JDM, so he's got both JDM and Fugly down very, very low. But still, he can't afford to be so proactive with this aggression. As soon as he's found out in the open, he could be a dead man. JDM missing another shot. No kid on Jason R, though, as well, so keep that in mind. He's very, very low on time. Needs to move in and find these kills quickly. Sneaking in through the smoke now. This is probably one of the more dangerous positions he could have posted up to play, but finds that first kill. Thankfully for CLG, though, Fugly's ready to respond. Finishes it off. And Splyce will not be finding their match point right here.
Yeah, but that's a very good round for them to just eat into the economy of CLG. Essentially, at this point, if I'm Splyce, even though you don't have as much money as you'd like, I think this is too passive of a buy from them. I force here. You still have plenty of rounds to play with, and with that many kills, I mean, Cutler and Tarek essentially have 0 money, so if you win this, it gives you a very good chance into that when you have map point to just be able to win based off the fact that you have a better economy there. So they're going to play it passive. They have the pistols. They have a shotgun as well. So Tarek's going to come out mid, and he's going to get 1-2 kills. Hazed as well. This is going to be a quick cleanup for CLG. Splyce not having the success they did in the last round.
Yep, and now they're just going to waltz right out onto that B-bomb site. The remaining 2 conjoined over here towards the A site, but unfortunately completely out of touch with the happenings. Davey has managed to pick up a rifle, so obviously going to be looking to save that back over here towards the T-spawn. And it doesn't really look like CLG, similarly to a last round where we had a save going on, are going to be moving out to just hunt him down exactly. Jason R can even get in the way of this too, but he also just found another gun for himself. It's going to be a shotgun, not as big of a pickup, but there may be something else hiding inside too. And with this, you could try to get aggressive and find an exit or two if you can get close enough to some of these players on CLG, but they're smart about this too. They were originally going to be exiting through the halls, but now it looks like they're shifting it and moving out through CT spawn instead.
Yeah, Fugly essentially cleared all that out. He went on a little bit of a hunt and saw there was no one there. So 8 rounds for CLG. This is where they lost Koppel. They got up towards 8 on a comeback and then got shut down. So Splyce, they play it safe for 2 rounds. This is what it's for. This is the buy that they've been waiting for. Op comes out into Davies' hands. They have a double op setup now as well. Jason R picks one up as his own, and Professor Cass is going to stay on the shotgun.
Just trying to save a little bit of money there for the side of Splyce too, as they need to build that own CT economy up now that CLG is getting closer. This may end up becoming a bit more of a competitive matchup here if they don't start to string some of their rounds together here very soon. Cutler very fast though, out onto the site itself. A lot of nades and whatnot coming in, but a Molly forces him out of position. JDM finds an opener. Davey just sitting out in the open, so it's easy pickings for him to grab there on his first kill. But now comes a test here for Hazed and Cutler as they pick up 2 more kills for the T side. Professor Chaos even tries to connect one of his own, but it doesn't pay off, and Hayes closes it out with 2 kills onto Abe and Professor Chaos to give CLG a 9th round now.
Yeah, I don't think Splyce was ready for that kind of a pace, and now you can see they're a little bit caught off guard, so the pause comes out for them. They have decent money. I doubt they buy here just because of the round length that they have, but they can, you know, they're just going to save 1 more, and they'll have a very, very strong with the losing bonus building up. Buy into the next one, but that's a little bit scary. CLG had very good use of their smokes in that round. The way that JDM used his to pick off towards the bomb train was super nice. And then also Jason R with the op being forced to run through it to kind of protect Hell to try and prevent anyone from getting that spot. He also fell in that situation. So nicely done from CLG to push those lanes behind all their smokes.
Much faster pace too from CLG than what Splyce may normally be used to. CLG actually don't see them playing to that fast of a take pace that often. They like to sort of split themselves up early on in the round and then go for a big group play later on, and it's on a lot of their maps actually, so oftentimes executing somewhere between 30 and 40 seconds. That time definitely not the case, just getting themselves out into the site immediately, and Cutler putting the pressure on there. So unfortunately Splyce is getting caught completely off guard by that, and really essentially with no chance to respond to it at any point in that round. Yeah,
and another attempt at a comeback for CLG. It's looking okay so far. There's still that kind of in that realm where you feel scared if you're a Splyce fan, but it's slowly creeping that way. 14-9 now, and it's going to be back on the pistols for Splyce, so a good chance of CLG getting their 10th. And then they're just a few rounds behind.
Actually may not end up being pistols here too for some of these guys at the very least. It looks like Professor Chaos has gone for a bit of a heavier investment, but that may be a bit out of tune because you can already see Davey, you guys can't see it on the screen of course, but Davey and Jason R have already gone for CZ Arbor buys. However, Professor Chaos disobeyed this a bit and he went for a Mag 7 buy, leaving him with a lot less money than some of his teammates.
He did have the shotgun in last round as well, so I mean he had a little bit of money still saved up because that shotgun was dropped over to him. He was saved out, so he didn't really spend too much in the last round, so why not go for it, see if you can get a couple kills, see if you can get a little bit clever. Give your team a big advantage if you can push in the ladder room and really defend that pretty efficiently in the close range. But yeah, this is now Splyce has got to. I mean, this pause is just to say, all right, guys, calm down. We have a lead. Yeah. We had a big lead. Let's not throw this match. Let's you know, keep ourselves calm and composed. 1 more save round, and then we start the winning again. So see if they'll be able to do it.
We could also see another stack towards the inner site too from the CTs. They've done this a couple rounds ago, and it actually went quite well. Led to, I think it was the one round where they were on an eco already, and they almost managed to win it because they did that 3-man push up the ramp, and it ended up leading to like a 2-for-2 trade. And then on the outside, I think it was Jason R that picked 1 or 2 up with the Deagle, and then I think they lost control of the 2v2 from that point forward. But still, if they pull something like that off again that just throws CLG off their game and they lose their confidence early in the round, then that's going to be a position where they can steal a round away here with a minimal buy, minimal investment overall, and then take control of the match, hopefully, as well in the next round.
And here we are, live into the round. So Scout on Arya, shotgun on Professor Chaos, pistols otherwise, no utility. CLG, they're the ones picking up the pace again towards the inner bomb site, but this time they shy away from it. It's another 3-man push. maybe they're expecting that because that's what happened last time. Cutler's watching for it. Arya does get a kill. There's Davey on a Cutler, so this is working out pretty nicely so far, although Fugly coming out Ivy evens things up in a 3-on-3. And am I mistaken, or is the bomb down in Whitehall's? They have the bomb.
They have the bomb control. So CLG now have to fight back against the CTs here. And what's even worse is Davey picks up a rifle, and he's got armor supporting it too. Jason are a little bit lower, 36 HP, but still they have absolute control of the situation. It was almost a bad thing too for Splyce, considering their player towards Ivy went down, but since they have the bomb control, none of those negative effects come into play. They can just camp out here. This is not really designed for something like this, so CLG have to try and work their way in through a choke point now. They've got a lot of utility and whatnot, but it's all about figuring out where Splyce may have posted their players up and properly finding a way back in. But it will be a rather delicate hold, relying a lot on Abe here to make sure nobody finds their way in through T-spawn stairs.
There's one of the Molotovs used a little bit inefficiently. CLG's got to group up, so Fugly's going to come from one side, coming through the inner bomb site. Tarek and Hayes are going to come up these stairs, so Abe's going to be the first contact. Davey has that AK-47, and he's kind of in the middle. He's there to rotate back and forth at Hayes. That's a good spot. Abe just couldn't see at that angle, so now it's going to be all on Davey. He gets the kill. They now know where he is. He's brought down very low. Jason R as well does not have a lot of HP. 20 seconds left on the clock for CLG to make this happen, and Tarek gets the next kill. There's the CZ from Jason R, but doesn't work out. Another, forced by situation, forced by esque from Splyce that they almost convert. But CLG hang on just at the end, and they have a lot of money built up. They can essentially buy for the rest of this half.
Splyce, they're now getting themselves into a real buy around here. Double up investment coming in on both Arya and Davey, and they've got utility sitting behind this as well. Only 2 rifles beyond that was an Abe and Jason R. Professor Chaos still choosing to work with this Mag 7 instead of picking up a rifle for himself this time. So CLG very quickly moving JDM back over to watch for an upper hit, and they are actually still going to do this stack as well. Take a look at this one. The shotgun leading the charge sitting over here. Professor Chaos. Jason R finds that first kill. Hazen needs to again respond with 2 more of his own, but Professor Chaos somehow grabs 2 with that shotgun before getting taken down by Fugly himself. And it's another 2-on-2. Tarek, though, the choice for him to hold back a little bit, not just rush onto the site with Fugly, and it now leaves Davey alone to clutch this out into 1v2.
Well, he knows at least for the moment he's got a one-on-one at the center bomb site, although that has quickly gone away as Tarek has gotten back in time. So he's trying to find that battle against Fugly. And wisely, Fugly just dropping the smoke and using it as cover. Davey does not have a kit either. And with the up, this is going to be, we've said before, nearly impossible. He's even going to bounce too far to protect him. So he's trying to bait out Tarek, and he does it. Nice shot, good flick over. 1 more to find. Using the smoke nicely, and Fugly's just going to try it. He's just spammed through the smoke. He doesn't realize it. Davey's not on the bomb, but there's no time left. That's a little bit of a bummer for Splyce. Davey makes it work. It's both of the kills, but just doesn't have time for the defuse. So 11th round comes out for CLG, inching ever closer.
3 more rounds, and then CLG will tie things up. Still the chance for them to actually steal away the matchup, too, keeping that in mind. But Splyce, tired of saving now, are just going to go for another buy this time. 2 ops coming back into the mix on both Ari and Davey once more. Guns got to be traded around quite a bit, but it's essentially the same buy that we saw in that last round. CLG still keeping theirs. Nice and tight here as well as they keep 4 AKs in the mix, and another op goes back onto JDM here.
Again, fast pace from CLG. I think Hayes just spotted those, so they should know that he's here. He's completely blind. He can't push forward. CLG is going to have a delayed execution here. This time, though, JDM's blocked off by smoke, so we can't have that same pick towards the bomb site. Most of it's going to be on Hayes.
Hayes pushing himself forward here now. Gonna try and take down Jason R as his first target, but nice flashbang tossed out. Unfortunately, it comes from the T, so Jason R is gonna find a first kill, but Fugly's able to respond. Professor Chaos still working with that shot. He's trying to find something, but this is not paying off. Fugly just found 3 kills in a row. Tarek finds a 4th, and now Abe, who was that committed player to the B-bomb site, he's got nothing left to do. He can't even really rotate himself over here because he's gonna meet Tarek in the halls in just a moment.
This is a disaster for Splyce, not able to hold anything now. Professor Chaos has been playing with a Mag 7, and maybe that's part of it. Maybe they just need another M4. He's been doing it a couple times now. He did get a couple kills in the round before when they went towards that inner bomb site, but still, having this Mag 7 does not seem to be working too much success for Splyce at the moment. Abe just trying to save this, and he's been spotted out. Fugly, that's a good peek, and Abe is just beaten on the movement. So 14-12, and again, Mag 7 comes out on Arya. They have some decent money. This losing bonus, I mean, Abe had over 5,000, but he's really the only one that had a healthy economy, so the losing bonus is going to build up for the next round. They have to seed this one. Although these rounds have gotten pretty dangerous for CLG.
Splyce as well, not really using a lot of their utility very well here. CLG trying to play at fast pace, but Splyce not really looking for any good responses to it. You see a couple flashbangs popping out from round to round, but not really any mollies. You want to hold back the more fast-paced plays. There's a short alleys on the outside train yard, which is like become a favorite spot for CLG to push, and why shouldn't it be with it? They're almost never punished here. There's Ari again, goes directly up the stairs and hopes of surprising their players, but no flashes or anything to follow it up, so he's very easily handled by a double stack that they have watching that stairwell. He pushes up, gets a little bit better that time as he takes down Hayes. But so far, beyond this, no additional gun pickups have been found for any of the remaining 3 players. Cutler's going to move in. Pop Flash is tossed out, but Cutler's not really going to be fooled by that too much. There will be another player around the corner. Professor Kraus tops away at that one, looking for a second one here. Almost takes down Tarek, but Tarek himself will strike back against PC. Cutler shuts down Abe, so now they've got full control of the situation once more.
They're very low, though, and Jason R has some armor. It's a little bit of unfortunate that he hasn't been able to salvage a rifle. But even with a CZ, some of these range shots, JDM's going to be the first one up. That's a nice jump peek. Jason R gets silenced, so 14-13. CLG on the verge of evening things up. Another buy comes out for Splyce. And the way this is essentially gone with this, the buy save back and forth from Splyce is if they lose this and have to go back onto those pistols again, then CLG could actually be the one all of a sudden to get up towards 15. It's been 8 straight rounds for CLG. There has been no defense mounted by Splyce in this half.
And CLG being given no reason to change any of their tactic. They're going to keep that aggression going. For the first time in a while, though, actually Splyce find the first kill, and it doesn't look like there's going to be a trade happening anytime soon for it. Even they know that pressure. They even know that pressure is still going to be broiling out over here towards Ivy as well. They've successfully held that. Arya picking up another kill onto Fugly. And Splyce themselves getting a lot more aggressive this time. Successfully, we should mention, too. Hayes striking back with 1 pickup. That's the only one they've been able to find so far, and these final 2 players are just stuck over here in the short alley with no real control of the outer bomb site.
Yeah, 1 Molotov to use. So they're going to have to hit some very, very nice shots. And you can see Splyce has just pretty much given up this yard, essentially. I mean, Professor Cass and A both playing in the connector. They're just saying, all right, we'll let you plant the bomb and we'll retake. And there's a good opening from Hayes. It's a nice battle to win, and pre-fires the corner, not going to find Abe. He just drops that Molotov so he can be able to plant this bomb. Oh, and he just spotted, he just changed to the bomb. That's so unfortunate for Hayes. He just saw him at the last second, but he'd already switched over. Molotov on Cutler now is going to come out, and he's got to get the bomb. 40 seconds left. There's going to be a flank down ladder as well. And he hasn't even picked up the bomb yet, so by the time he does, that Molotov is no longer going to cover him, and Davy's going to end things. So finally, after 8 rounds in a row for CLG, Splyce get back on the board, and now CLG, they've got to play for overtime.
Here's the problem, though, for Splyce is that, of course, they're only 2 rounds away from it, and they just managed to win 1 round, resetting an 8 streak of losing bonus. And they don't really have a whole lot of money left in excess here. So if they drop this one, their economy is going to be reset, and they're down to a very iffy buy, to say the least, if CLG can just trade this round right back into their favor, and CLG would almost guarantee overtime because of that. So to start it off, not going to be as direct with the outer take this time around. They do move Tarek outside of T connector, once again to that short alley area, but definitely not going to be looking for any kills this early on in the round like we've seen in some of the previous ones. There's a nice shot from JDM, though. Almost manages to catch Davey, but Abe responds by pushing from the back halls there on upper. Takes down JDM. Goes behind the plywood there. Davey catching another kill, but in the meantime, Tarek and Fugly have been fragging themselves elsewhere on the map. Davey did respond with 1 more pickup for the CT side, bringing things down to a 2-on-2. But keep in mind, too, because Davey's already been in combat, he's very low. But Tarek trying to go for the sneaky plays. It doesn't pay off. Ari's just waiting for him there at the top. Shoots him right in the back. And it falls to Hayes to clutch this out, but even he's not going to be able to do that. Davey shoots him in the back, and that's going to end things, guys. 16-13.
Oh, it's soul-crushing for CLG to make that much of a comeback, mount it all the way, and just drop it right at the end. That one's going to hurt. They go 0-2 on the night, which is not something we expected to see coming into this matchup versus Splyce. So those logos are not the same teams. But either way, moving forward, we are going to go to a quick break. That was a very long match, and coming up we have Winter Fox, as you saw, versus K-Kona, and we'll get into that doubleheader as soon as we return from the break. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back with ESL Pro League.